Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Isle of Man in the UK. This is John and Mike's MMA Corner.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by our favourite Welshie.
Tom Jones!
No, Joe Ozagi.
It's your only. Oh no, it's not your only Welshie. It's I'm actually the second Welshie of yours, is it?
I don't know.
No, we've had a couple of Welshies on before.
To be fair, I like that Catherine Jenkins. She's a bit smoking. She'd be up there with. She'd be one of my favourites. She's a smoking hot Welshie. And what's that other one as well?
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah, she's all right as well, isn't she? Even though
she's got an awesome MMA game. She has.
Yeah, she's knocking on a bit as well.
I'd stay on her guard.
I would, yeah. I'd
I bet you would. You'd be laying and praying, Mike.
But he's praying that she doesn't get off and or switch the lights on.
Or she doesn't pass it.
In Wales, you call that a Brett Johns, you do.
Oh, do you call it Brett Johns?
Does it smell of veg?
Yeah, it's a boring 25-minute hump, it is.
Oh, do you know what now?
Yeah, with no special ending.
Yeah. Oh. Well, Brett, let's get yapping now about we've spoke for a few guests that we've had on with our like end of year roundup, let's say. Isn't it?
Yeah. Even though we're now in the new year,
16, but 2015, Brett, how do you feel your 2015 went for you?
I'd say it went okay. In my opinion, it went mediocre. The reason why I'm saying that is I fought my first UFC veteran, and before I went on the show with you guys, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to fight them UFC veterans, and I got my wish. I fought Wild Watson, beat him, so that was a nice little feather in the cap. That fight in Alabama was probably one of my favourites. I love that. I love the show. I love the people there. It was just amazing. And then the reason why I thought it was mediocre was because Kansas then, Alabama was the greatest trip and Kansas was the worst. It was the worst fight I've had, it's the worst trip, it's the worst everything, it was the worst camp. And then we finished off the year then by just doing my first professional K1 bout. And that was also good, that was a good little finish. And for once I came in underweight, for the first time ever. I was 2 kilos underweight, so that's I was screaming in the weigh-ins, I only had to cut like 1 kilo, and I was like, look! Weight cutting like a pro.
Everyone else is probably sitting there going, "They got those scales right? I think the scales are broken."
Yeah. Someone grabbed his ass from behind. Someone there behind him.
It wasn't one of the ones where you lean back on and lean forward on, and you can give yourself like a £5 difference, is it?
Yeah. But no, it was a good year, and it's only better to come. Like I said, 23 years old, 12-0 now, which I'm absolutely. What I keep thinking about that record, I feel like it's just like it's not real, I feel like there's not a lot of guys in the world who are undefeated at the minute that are over 10-0. I think I looked at the rankings at the minute, and I looked at undefeated fighters in the world at the minute. I think I'm in the top 5 undefeated bantamweight fighters in the world, which is absolutely amazing,
It's a pretty cool thing to keep hold of and keeping it there, really. It's
going to get the attention of the people that matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, risen.
But you look at the guys I'm up there with. I'm up there with Aljamain Sterling. I'm up there with that undefeated Brazilian
Thomas
kid.
Almeida.
Yeah, Thomas Almeida. Yeah, who them guys are the upper echelon of that UFC bantamweight division.
Yeah.
And I watched a few bantamweights from the weekend. I watched Michael McDonald.
Yes.
Did you see that fight?
Yes, I did. Yes.
I don't know what that was. I think it was a bit of ring rust. I've seen Michael McDonald a lot better than that.
2 years.
That's coming from a guy who was main event in a UK show before.
Yeah.
And I did feel like he might be a little bit off this show, but you got to give him a benefit. He's had a lot of injuries and stuff, so I watched that fight, and that's potentially a fight I'd like, because I know he's got sick hands. And after he fought Miguel Torres, that's what the fight I wanted. I wanted that fight, which it obviously didn't happen, but. Potentially in the future, I don't see that UFC call, coming too late. I do see it being in 2016, whether if it's, if it happens to be in February, which I doubt, or if it's in later on in the year, December time. I do see it being 2016 is the call up to the UFC.
I think so.
Well, Mike McDonald, he was 2 years. He was out 2 years since he had a fight, and that was crazy the way he. I know I've seen some moves, but that transition from being literally nearly choked out to then choking out was insane, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm not saying like I've grappled all my life. I've done jiu-jitsu for 6 years, and like when I'm in a head and arm choke, to do what he did out of that, yeah, you can take into consideration the sweat and stuff, but I personally think it was more the timing of what he did and how he did it, which I thought was perfect. He obviously took that from the Renenborough fight where he did get arm triangled. He went back, he did his homework. He said, right, I lost this. How can I do this, this, and this? And he's obviously, the Japanese fighter went in and tried to do it, and then look, it kind of bit him in the arse a bit because he had that plan B, and I'm glad he deserved the the bonus or the 50 grand bonus because of he was losing that fight. I felt like he was 2 rounds down, and he come back and won. So that's the thing That's the thing with Michael McDonald. I never seen Michael McDonald get. He doesn't get beaten. And that was the first time I've ever seen him go 2 rounds down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he needs a bit of a confidence booster after the Faber fight.
Well, I think
just to believe that.
Yeah, I think with 2 years out as well, I think, like you said, I think ring rust played a part. If you're out for 2 years, it does make a big difference. Because he's not going in against bums. He's going in against guys who are some of the top in the world. So when you're out for 2 years, you skip a beat. It makes a hell of a lot of difference, and it can show. And I think it showed there. I think if Michael McDonald maybe had been fighting for those 2 years and then fought him, it probably would have been
a different fight.
Would have been a different fight, I reckon, probably.
Yeah, and if I'm honest, like you said, he is fighting the best guys. I argue about fighting the best guys, and I'll say, look, I fought Watson, fought these guys, but like, no disrespect to Watson or to Gutierrez, they didn't stay in the UFC. He's fighting guys who have made a career at the sport. Put it this way, Roy Faber, WEC featherweight champion. Back then that was the equivalent of the UFC belt.
Yeah.
He's fighting guys, and he's fighting guys like that. And he's fighting the top of the top who are absolutely amazing, and like I can't remember. There's another guy, Aljamain Sterling. This guy's like 11-0, 12-0, and he subbed Mizugaki quite easily I think I'm not sure it was his fight before last, but Mizugaki's a tough bantamweight. And he's one of the best at 135. So you beat Mizugaki when you want to get into that top 10, in my opinion. Well, do you know what I mean?
A bit of a top definitely. 10 gatekeeper sort of thing. He
just fought Johnny Eduardo back at the start of December because we had him on the podcast. We had Aljamain on the podcast.
Was that his last fight?
Yeah, we had Aljamain on the podcast a few weeks before, I think it was. Yeah, talking to him. And he's one of the top fighters and he's now a free agent, which is super interesting.
And yet they
what does that mean? He's not with the UFC anymore? Is he not signed to the UFC anymore?
He's free to shop around.
Yeah, They have like a 90 days. I think it's 90 days. When you have your last fight, you've got 90 days, and the UFC can offer you a contract. And then what happens is you have like a period where any promotion come along and go, oh, we'll offer you X, Y, and Z. And if they do, then the UFC have to match that if they want to keep you.
Right, okay, I got you.
Yeah, that's what happened with Gilbert Melendez. Gilbert Melendez went, oh man, this deal's crap.
Yeah, he moved off to Bellator.
Bellator was like, oh, we'll give you, I don't know, maybe whatever it was, 300,000 a fight, and then UFC went, we want to keep him.
Yeah, we'll give you a tough series.
We'll give you 3,000 a fight. Here you go. And
then he got the tough series as well, which was.
I gotta be honest, mate. There's some great companies out there and stuff, and obviously the main goal is that UFC call. Any fight would say, look, the place, if you ask them at the start of their careers, their first pro fights, they want to get to the UFC. That is it. But having said that, people are making some changes out there. I look at the bantamweight division in Bellator. I like the bantamweight division. I know that when I was fighting Gutierrez, LC Davis had a few things to say on Twitter. That's a fight, and LC Davis is a tough guy.
Yeah, he is.
Not only that, you got Joe Warren, you got Eduardo Dantas, Marcus Galvao. They got them guys there who are the best in the Bellator division. And not only that, you take a flight the other side of the world, then you got ONE FC. You got guys like Bibiano Fernandez, and you got the top guys out there. So as a free agent, he gets to go wherever he wants, and nobody's going to say, "Oh, look, you're taking the easy option," because the guys you're fighting out there are the best there anyway.
Yeah. That's the thing. There is some of the guys that are at ONE FC and even at Bellator that if you put them into the UFC,
They would find their.
They do really
place,
well.
like,
They'd be up in that mix in top 10 easy. There's some of them guys.
I was watching. Did you see the fight between Bibiano Fernandez and Tony Tauro? It was in ONE FC a few months ago.
No, I didn't. At ONE FC, I see some of their fights, but I don't get to watch all of them.
Yeah, well, I think it's on YouTube somewhere. But I watched that fight, and considering now Bibiano Fernandez like pound for pound in the top, like not pound for pound, in the bantamweight world rankings, he's like 6th or 7th. And I watched that, and I'm not sure if you remember, before I went to America, Tony Tauro was a potential opponent, which I was more than happy to do. And I like that, man. I like the fight between Bibiano. There's a few fighters at the highest, right at the top of the weight that at the moment, don't get me wrong, I don't feel like I'll do well against them at the moment. But I'm 23 years old, you know what I mean? I got no problem in admitting I'm young at the minute, and you know I do want tests, but they gotta be like reasonable, you know. I'm not sure what Joe Soto's doing now. I know he's got 3 losses on the bounce.
Mm-hmm.
That would be another fight I'd like, only because of like he fought the UFC bantamweight champion.
Yeah.
And then potentially just go up step by step, because there's, you know, I'm not afraid to fight anybody. I'll go in there with anybody, but you know, stuff. You got this sport is like one of the roughest sports in the world, and like styles make matchups. Do you know what I mean? And like I'll go in there with someone like WSOF. What's the WSOF champion of my weight? Marois, is it? Marois.
I don't pay a lot of attention to World Series fighting. Not because I don't think much of them, but I just don't pay much attention to of them.
Them guys out there just are absolutely phenomenal. Like he's got awesome stand-up, is very high quality, very high quality jiu-jitsu when he gets to the ground. But like another things, and you know, like you got people who are like high-level wrestlers. You take into consideration the Dominic Cruzes, the TJs who have got good wrestling backgrounds, and their fights I'd like, you know, and that's what I'm missing for my record at the minute is that wrestler. I want to fight a wrestler.
Yeah, prove
because
that you
of
can.
yeah, you know, like I said, I've gone through my whole career, and I've beaten guys, I've wrestled them down, and you know, not only that, I'd like to fight a wrestler and just basically just prove to everybody, look, I can still do whatever I want to do, because I do believe if you put me in there freestyle wrestling with a high level freestyle wrestler, he'll put me on my back in 10 seconds. But when it comes to MMA wrestling, a bantamweight, I generally don't believe there's nobody else out there better than me. I don't. Not even on a pound for pound basis. You know, GSP was one of the greatest to do it, and he would tell people himself, he was no good at freestyle wrestling. He wasn't. He felt like he wasn't good at freestyle wrestling. But when it came to MMA, he was really good, and I feel like it's the same for me. You know, when I get in there, I fight high level guys. I'm not sure if you know a guy called Mike Edwards, who trains in Wales, who used to be a light heavyweight, and he's a very, very good grappler, you know, and a very good wrestler.
I thought you were going to say when you fought him at bantamweight. I was thinking, what?
No. I like I said, I've wrestled with him, and I've done bits with him, and you know, and Mike's a phenomenal wrestler. So I've got guys like that, and you got people like him telling me that, you know, that the wrestling is very good. Like, you know, that's big confidence for me, you know, and it don't matter whoever they put in front of me, I will do everything I can to either like win. I'll go out and do this, I'll do that, I'll adapt. You know, like, I'm not like a massive fan of Conor McGregor, but you know, he's like, oh, I'll adapt and overcome, and it makes sense. You know, everything he says makes sense, and it's basically how I go through training. Over the Christmas holidays, everybody was enjoying their meal. I think I watched. I looked at a couple of statuses. I'm not going to name certain bantamweight fighters, but other bantamweight fighters are packing in their training on the 15th of December, and then a day after Boxing Day, I'm doing 5-5s in the gym, and then the day after I'm doing that 5-5s, I'm doing another 5-5s, and the day after that, I'm having a proper 10-minute flat or roll with Chris, my coach, like, who's in my opinion, a very high level black belt jiu-jitsu. And then people are like, oh, well, I'm enjoying my Christmas dinner. Well, yeah, I'm enjoying my Christmas dinner, but I'm also going out and putting the work in, you know. And I believe that nobody trains harder than me in this game. Nobody does. And you know what I mean? Like, I'll be honest. Like, today, the last 2 days, I haven't trained. I got a chest infection. I'm on antibiotics. But like, I pushed myself to that limit before my body just goes, no, not now. You know.
Yeah, and you've also got that confidence that you know that you didn't take
whole Christmas period off.
Yeah, the easy way out over Christmas.
Yeah.
So how far further back would you be with this chest infection? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And a week after that K1 fight, I felt something come on my chest, and I felt a bit chesty. And if I'm honest, that kind of kept with me until now. And now I've just done something about it because I woke up 2 days ago and it was really bad. So, you know, this is just the aim of the game. You know, like every fight will tell you, no, I'm not special. Every fight will tell you that, you know, you push yourself so hard that your body will just shut down. You know.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Your immune system can only do so much. Yeah, it's very common.
Are you sure it wasn't a broken heart?
Santa left you some coal.
Yeah, happens.
With the K1 thing, is this something that we're going to see again? Are you going to be doing jits comps this year? What's to expand your kind of let's say your horizon?
Yeah, no, I spoke to Chris about it, and like he's like I said, I'll explain one thing. Chris is like my he's the guy who decides everything. He decides whether I take a day off. He's the guy who decides whether I should.
He's your wife, isn't he?
He's the wife. Yeah, okay. He's the wife. Like my wife. I say my wife, my girlfriend. I just got to constantly listen to her, otherwise I'm gonna get beaten up. You know. Yeah. But like no, he tells me, you know, you should do this, you should do that. And after the K1 fight, I said, look, I enjoyed it. You know, I thought, in my opinion, the guy that I fought wasn't particularly the best. You know, wasn't the best, but like. I absolutely pantsed it. A week before the fight, my first opponent pulled out, and he was a bit of a Mickey Mouse thing, but he was a K1 fighter, and everybody knows me as a wrestler, and that's the point I'm trying to get across. Is I'm not known for striking, standing and striking. I wanted to show it, but I wanted to show you someone who was a similar level, you know. Yeah. So this guy pulled out a week before the fight, and they put in some Latvian kid, right? And I'm not sure if you've seen the photo. The guy is. I won't say he's been on steroids, but he's in good shape, right? Okay.
Like Sage Northcutt.
Yeah, he's clean.
Like Sage Northcutt.
Yeah. This kid's probably taken protein since he's been about 2 months old.
Exactly.
And I was there looking across the kid. This guy is massive, and I don't know nothing about the kid. It was one fight on YouTube where he knocks a kid out in literally 30 seconds with a head kick, and I'm like, I can't take nothing away from that. So a couple of hours before the fight, I'm in bits. I'm in Nando's and I'm shaking. I'm ready to go in Nando's. And then I remember then when we went out there, it was just, and like I said, it was just like any other fight. Everything went out the way. I was darting. I was doing certain moves I've learned a couple of weeks before. I was using them in training and sparring, and I didn't get touched. I wasn't touched once in the fight in the face, you know. And my head movement for once was on point, and I didn't take no shots. You know, 2.5 minute fight, and. You know, the kid probably threw more punches than I did, but, you know, I got the finish in the end, you know.
That's all that matters, yeah.
I tell you what, for any autograph hunters, the best advice you could ever give them is fight weekend, go to Nando's.
Yeah.
It is like a ritual meet-up, isn't it?
It's like a mecca for poker.
Yeah. It's like Marvel superheroes. They got their thing, and all the MMA fighters just go to Nando's and sit around a round table.
It is. It's like when we
pretty much.
Remember when we went to
any
UFC
any
London,
MMA fight ever,
and we bumped into Jimmy Manowet, and he just went into he was going into Nando's. But then Bradley Scott turned up and he went into Nando's, and then you just look at Nando's and you look at each table and you go, "Oh, there's so and so."
Bisping has been in there, and I think he had.
Yeah, Bisping as well. And so we just went, well, "Where should we go to eat?" We'll just go to this place next door.
Yeah, you're in Nando's and it's just full of chicken and cauliflower.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's a great place to go, though.
It is the last sort of meaty meal before the fight.
It's the place to go to, though. It's good grub. It's good grub. You can't go wrong with it. Brett, we know though you've got to go. You've got to shoot off, so we're going to let you shoot off, buddy. As much as we want to keep you tied down to show us how to make vegetable soup.
Yeah. Basically, he goes out and mixes vegetables around about
now
7:30, 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So when it's dark, but it's not too cold.
So it's not Peter Rabbit. It's actually Brett Johns.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And what I'll do is I'll make you some. And I might have a venture, and I might I can't give you it, John, but I'll give Mike some vegetable soup if I'm not watching the UFC.
That sounds like a good idea. Give Mike some, give it to Mike.
I've had vegetable soup before. I just throw chicken in with it. And make it a proper soup,
Brett, before you go, buddy, as always, give us your social media for people to jump onto, mate.
Mine's, I changed my name on Instagram. I think it's Brett Johns MMA, at 36 Johns, and Brett Johns on Facebook. No, I have dropped the pikey, so
Oh.
I think it's good for our business purposes later on in life.
Oh.
You'd be lucky if you drop a pikey. They're hard as fuck.
I know, yeah. I've seen Snatch.
Yeah. I've seen that Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Stop messing with him.
Fuck that.
You know. God, dear.
Right, Brett, have a great time.
Yeah, don't enjoy the football too much.
Don't enjoy the football, sissy
Yeah.
soccer. But we'll speak again soon, Brett.
Yeah, thank you, boys. Thanks again. As like I said, it's awesome having a chat with you, and I think in a few weeks' time now, I'll book another one in.
Definitely, yeah. When you got more time, definitely, buddy. We'll speak to you soon, my friend.
Happy New Year.
Thank you, lads. Bye, lads. Ta-ta.